Gaming Bolt presents 15 things that you need to know about Dark Souls 3. Dark Souls is headed back to home consoles and PC this April, and there's one thing developers from Software haven't changed, it's that the game will kick your ass over and over again. Just like the good old days on PS3 and Xbox 360. It's time to get prepared for a current generation console version of the beloved series on PS4 and Xbox One, but this time, it's coming back strong with a whole new perspective and tons of awesome things to do. Here's our list of 15 things you need to know about Dark Souls 3 to get you prepared for the coming onslaught. Not the end. Claims were made last year when it was reported that the Dark Souls series will end with the latest entry. Well, these rumors were wrong. In fact, Miyazaki referred to it as a turning point for the Dark Souls series. It'll be a turning point, but it's not final. Well, that's a relief. Influence of Bloodborne. After Bloodborne was released early last year to raving success, Dark Souls 3 took a bit of a turn and special influence from Bloodborne. It's especially surprising how Bloodborne was derived from the Dark Souls series, but it is in fact Dark Souls raising its game from its quasi-successor. Combat is going to be much more fluid within Dark Souls 3. Movement and actions will flow and react much faster in the third game. Dedicated servers. Just like the HD version of Dark Souls 2, the third game will support up to 6 players in an online multiplayer match. Dedicated servers are going to be implemented into the multiplayer this time around, instead of letting a single person host the session. This will ultimately result in a smoother game, less hiccups, better frame rates for those on slower connections, and just an all-around more fun experience. Bigger world. The Dark Souls series has brought us worlds of pure imagination. Cities covered in ruin, landscapes burned to the ground, and enemies roaming far and wide. But how far exactly? Not as far as they will be in Dark Souls 3. Developers at From Software have promised a much larger land build from previous Dark Souls games. Worlds we've yet to imagine built from the minds of these playfully mischievous developers will come alive and be totally ready for current-gen consoles and PCs. New classes. Dark Souls 3 is shipping with new classes in tow. As several favorites will indeed return, From Software has shown off a few of the new character classes we'll all get to enjoy very soon. We want to keep spoilers down to a minimum, but we can't help but rave about the Thief class. With a nice sidestep ability and bow and arrow, the Thief is ready to take control. With its amazing outfit, fast-paced actions, and quick skill sets, the Thief is just one of the many cool classes in the next game. Improved magic. Magic in Dark Souls 3 is going to be a little different than in previous iterations. Spells and miracles will have new skills that used to be known as weapon arts and battle arts. Players can use one spell during a battle, at the same time charge a different spell for a follow-up attack. Having control of multiple options during a big battle, or even some of those difficult smaller ones, can come in very handy during such a grueling and often unforgiving game. Tweaked upgrades. Upgrades are getting a little revamp in the next Souls game, and they couldn't get here fast enough. Reinforcing and repairing weapons is still possible in this next version. Reinforcing an Estus flask and giving in to how you store flasks are divided between health and magic flasks. Reinforcement still needs Titanite, but infusion now takes gems and special coal. Sounds complicated, but it makes it much better in the long run. Weapon skills. Weapon skill is a new feature that lets the player use a special secondary attack with each weapon. This new ability will allow players to become strong and take on those monstrous creatures that rain down hellfire from their throats. They are devastating and can take a massive amount of health from your enemy, but to make them evened out a bit, they take a long time to charge, which can make you susceptible to attacks. No more hollowing. In previous Dark Souls games, dying meant losing souls and your character would also become a hollow, meaning your abilities and HP would go down until an item was used or other means were required to get back to normal. Fortunately, the hollowing system is no more in the next game. That should mean that when you die, you simply come back to life. You don't get an extra punishment for being a failure like you would in previous games. Hidden walls. Hidden walls are still going to be in Dark Souls 3 for those who've enjoyed them in the past. I like to have coincidences happen during battles or accidental reveals due to swinging weapons around, randomly shooting arrows. I want to implement this sort of surprise discovery in a natural way when playing the game, Miyazaki said to Game Informer. So yes, veteran players should also look forward to them in Dark Souls 3. Fast travel. It's back. Fast travel from previously visited locations from around the world of Dark Souls 3 is finally back for another round. Getting from one location to another is not going to be as big of a deal as it would be walking there without a fast travel location that's been unlocked. Thankfully, these helpful little travel points are back and ready for another round of travelers. Weapon durability. A new weapon system is being used in the third game in the series with weapon durability. No, it's not a new concept, but it has been completely made anew. Weapons in Dark Souls 3 will have much more durability in them than seen in Dark Souls 2. That means more kills per weapon and more blood on your ledger, but the downside to all of that is said weapons will not be as strong as they had been in the original Dark Souls games, so it's a double-edged sword effect. Summoning's return. The traditional summoning system will make its return in Dark Souls 3 multiplayer mode where you can battle enemies and your friends from all over the world. Red orbs are no longer required to invade, so get out there and start tracking those enemies to show them who the king of Dark Souls 3 Online truly is. Respecialization. Assigning stat points to different abilities while playing Dark Souls games has always been a tough choice on what to actually unlock and what to just keep on the sidelines. Fortunately, stat points can be reallocated to other abilities. This means in a game like Dark Souls, where the smallest mistake can mean doom, a tiny bit of forgiveness will finally be allowed. New Game Plus. Everyone knows, or should know, that New Game Plus is a special mode assigned to those who beat a game the first time through. New Game Plus amplifies the difficulty, lowers health drops, and makes everything more hellacious than it had previously been in the first playthrough. New Game Plus for Dark Souls 3 is going to be all of that, but Bonfire's Aztecs will not be returning. So does this mean there won't be moments of reprieve when we beat the game and dive right back in on this much harder difficulty? Only time will tell.
And that wraps it up. What are your thoughts about this? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and share it on Twitter and Facebook. And why not consider subscribing? We upload some really cool videos almost every day. Thank you for watching this video, and happy gaming!